Hello, today we have with us Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai. So, have you visited the exhibition? How do you think it was exhibited at the conclave, the geopolitical exhibition?
I think saying that it was good, it was excellent is actually not good because it was beyond excellence. Because if you can rate it, I will not say 10 on 10, I would say 12 on 10 because of three reasons. Number one, it was very well researched exhibit. So it's not just my opinion. There are a lot of research frameworks that were given right from Kautilya's Arthashastra, Mahabharata, so many other shastras. So we find a reference of scholarly research, number one. Secondly, the exhibition size, let me tell you specifically, were very good font size. So if I were walking around the exhibition, I got like 10-15 minutes and I can miss the point. So the font size is very important for anybody who's walking. So that was excellent, the color combination. And the third important thing was the audio visuals. Because many times we have panels like this, which is static. But every particular exhibit had a story to tell in a video form. So I think there are a lot of takeaways, and I would say 12 on 10.
So, what is your opinion on the topic that was selected for the panel discussion?
So my panel was actually about geopolitics, of course, as a framework, but it's also decolonizing the whole equation of global power. And I think we had some of the best scholars from our country who worked at the national and international level. So I think it was one of the very well moderated sessions. And specifically, what I liked is for every question, of course, there was an expert panelist, but Guruji himself gave his opinion, and we could find that he's not just making an opinion, but I would say he was giving a scholarly, practical wisdom to actually make the outcome of this particular conference a global, applicable outcome.
So, sir, like the topic was decolonizing global governance. So, what, according to you, is meant by global governance?
Yeah. So, global governance, as we discussed in panel also, initially may actually start like a control of a few countries, which then went on to say it's not about control, it's about management. But again, then we are talking about the word leadership. So if you look at global governance, there are a lot of ideas that came out. And one of the specific things was it should not be just meant about few countries controlling and leading the world, or they think they are leading the world, but it should be actually inclusive to make sure even the poorest of the poor countries to the richest of the richest countries are in the same line. So I think global governance has to evolve from what it started during the World War.
So, like you just mentioned that even the poorest countries should be included in global governance. So, do you think organizations such as the United Nations are doing justice to this by bringing in the opinion of the poorest countries, or is it more about the developed nations only?
So, as we discussed in the panel, one thing was absolutely clear. It all started almost 80 years ago with the Atlantic Charter. On paper, it looks excellent. That was the discussion, yes. And it looks like, wow, what a great world that we are going to have. But the reality is very different. We still have wars going on. We thought after World War II and the formation of United Nations, the world will not fight again. But there have been multiple wars across regions and it continues. So the point here is that global governance on paper may look great, but I think practically we need to still look at how to evolve it, not discard it. So we should not just leave it to the past, but evolve it for a practical application for the future generation.
So why do these countries come together to create these global governance institutions?
So two reasons. There is a saying that people come together only because of two P's. Either they have a common purpose, one P, or they have a common problem. So if two mothers are coming together because both the children are fighting. So in the same way, I think one of the reasons why all the countries are coming together, we have almost 200 countries. They have issues, maybe humanitarian issues, food crisis, employment, education, climate change, and now technology and AI. So I think today what happens in one part of the world or the smallest country will impact the biggest country and vice versa. I think we are all coming together to find out solutions for common problems and also to have a common purpose.
So now I'll come to a few rapid fire questions where I'll expect an instant answer for the same. Global governance necessary? Yes or no? UN power legitimate?
Maybe.
Western dominance declining?
Yes.
One world government desirable?
Of course.
Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam scalable?
Yes.